Today is Tuesday, October the 22nd, 2013, Vincent Corporation in Tampa, Florida. What we have here is what's been described as fungal material from North American Protein, and apparently it's been stabilized in formaldehyde from what I understand. The sample got here last week while I was traveling, so it's probably been sitting here the better part of a week. The idea is to see what we can do in the way of separation. Interesting material. It looks like there's some filter paper or something that's inside of it, but it looks like the real separation they're going to want to make is of those smaller particles. Our best shot at it is probably going to be with our CP4 screw press, which is what we have here, one set up in the lab area. As is typical of our presses, it's driven from the inlet end. There's the inlet hopper. Here we have the motor and gearbox driving the screw, which you can see turning there as it goes through the seal plate into the inlet hopper. There's the continuous portion of the screw in the inlet hopper. Some residual left in there from a previous test, but that's okay. I think that was mushroom. Here's the screen section where the liquid should come out. In this case, it's set up for steam injection from the previous test, but we don't intend to use that for this test. But that injects steam down through the resistor teeth that protrude into the voids in the flighting of the screw. And it allows usually more liquid to come out by breaking open additional cells. The press cake is intended to come out past this discharge cone, this bronze cone in this case, which is actuated by an air cylinder and a lever arm. You can adjust the amount of pressure on the cylinder to give you adjustment of how dry the material is coming out of the end. Each press comes with a filter regulator lubricator set and a cone reversing valve. This just happens to be the old setup we have here in the lab. Right now there's maybe 15 psi, can't get it to focus, but yeah, about 15 psi on the cone. And what I'll do is throw the lever. Come on, machine, focus. There we go. I'll throw the lever and you'll see that the cone will be pushed in to put back pressure on the solids. We are not certain what kind of adjustments we'll need to make with this. This is not, at first blush, a slam dunk application. What we may end up doing is pushing all of that dirty liquid through this screen and simply get that filter paper or whatever it is out of the end. Just not sure. But we're ready to give it a try.
We've got a bunch of spoiled mushrooms in here that'll come out.
Yeah, the spoiled mushrooms should come out first if they get pushed through. Because it's so dilute, you immediately get a rush of liquid through the screen. Quite a bit of the solids came out with it. Usually at the cone end you get some leakage past the cone until it forms a plug of solids. That's what you see happening here. Level appears to not be moving very much.
Looks like started to blind on this side.
Yep, it looks blinded on this side as well. Collecting the liquid here. Nothing past the cone yet.
Pull the cone open. Let's see if we got any cake.
Well, it hadn't formed any cake.
No. Nope, just dropped the little dribble that it had, but that was about it.
That unblinded the screen a little bit. Reversing VFD might help it.
Interesting, yeah. Every once in a while you can see a spot where it spits a little bit of material through the screen. That's indicative of the screen being blinded over and then momentarily opening up again.
It's got a classic case of turning in the inlet hopper. It's going back towards the motor.
Yep. Exactly. The screw on the bottom is trying to push it to the right, but you can see the material on the top is moving to your left. So it's churning in the hopper rather than being pushed through. That's not even the full sample yet.
I've got 2 gallons to go.
Yeah.
Press aid.
Well, at this point, I don't see any harm in adding some press aid because we can't do any worse.
Well, we can get some wood fiber.
Here you'll see we try to keep some press aids on hand.
I think it's in this. Yeah.
We have some wood fiber. We're going to go ahead and put that in. We don't know at this point if it's practical for you to do that, but since we've achieved nothing at this point, we can't hurt anything.
Sprinkle it in.
The level has dropped, but ever so slowly.
That's probably enough.
You want to sprinkle some in here,
That's
Bill?
what I was just going to say. Just sprinkle some in there and they can burn it in there. We got one of them paint stir sticks we can
Yeah.
stir this up. And then again, if it's still churning in there, it'll probably do it.
Yeah, the churning action ought to help mix it up. The wood fiber's not dusty or anything.
Helps not to be sweating.
Yeah, exactly.
That ought to
Yeah, that's a lot. But here's a stir, here's a paint stir. We may as well, let's help it along. We always use a wooden stick so that if the screw grabs it, it just bites the end off and doesn't cause a lot of damage. Certainly beats trying to stir it by hand. Of course, you would never do that.
Oh, I thought that was one of the sticks that had gotten caught.
It's interesting, as some of the fiber begins to go in,
Pop the cone a bit to bring the level down.
Say open it a little bit, Bob?
yeah, just to bring the level in the hopper down.
I need more. More?
Bob, look, though, we're getting a huge change in the action on the screen right now. Huge, huge change.
Okay. That's fine, Bill.
Incredible.
Pour in.
There's the new stuff with the fiber in it. This is the final 2 gallons, and it's a dramatic difference. This is what a screw press should look like the liquid coming out has much, much, much less of those suspended solids. I mean, it is still yellow in color, but significantly better. Sometimes you see a different action on one side of the screen than the other. In this case, we don't see much happening here, but the real telltale was on this side.
Liquid comes out upstream of the resistor teeth. Downstream it doesn't come out. Might be the screen.
There's still some churning, but there's actually hope here. It's you can see that it's beginning to get to the top of the screw plates now.
Biological bacteria. What did they call this stuff?
Fungal material.
Fungal. Darren was taking a postgraduate course in fungus when I met her. She hates fungus. Many a times.
Boy, this. Now, you know, needless to say, the wood fiber had no moisture in it. None of this liquid that you're seeing is contributed by the wood fiber. All of the liquid is from the material that was sent to us. So, I would tend to say that without any press aid, it's a poor application. With press aid, it's dramatically different. Yeah, there may even be enough cake that we can take a sample.
Chase it out.
There we go, look at that. Bill, will you hand me that scoop, please? I know, I'm sorry, you only have 2 hands. I'm going to place a scoop under here so that some of the solids will fall into it. There actually is a piece of mushroom from the previous test. So before, whatever sample I take, I'll want to take towards the end. Bill is putting a chaser in that will push the remaining material out. It's like a packing foam. And hopefully...
Crushed ice would do the same thing.
Crushed ice, that's right. We frequently...
Must have been Jerry.
Frequently we will recommend using crushed ice lubricated with water to chase stuff out of a press, because once the ice melts, nothing's left inside. The truth is, taking a sample to bake in the oven and give you a moisture content number will be misleading at best, because we didn't calculate or weigh the amount of press aid that we put in for the 2 gallons or so of liquid that was remaining. Look at what remains in the pan. Some of that in the corner here is from early on. If you look down here, this is more representative of what we began to get after we put the press aid in. Much clearer liquid. Little sludge towards the end here. Okay, well, the truth is, I would recommend a rental or further trial only if the use of a press aid is reasonable and commercially feasible. Short of that, I wouldn't recommend it. But here's a good look at some of the press cake coming out. Ignore the mushrooms, please. Well, this press cake with the wood fiber has nothing else in it that I can squeeze out by hand. Not true. I got some liquid out there. Laboratory tests are not going to tell us anything because we had to sort of, for the lack of a better term, bastardize the sample. But we did learn something. It was certainly not wasted. We gained a great deal of insight into what would be necessary to run this product. I've now retracted the arm, lever arm, so the cone is free to push open from the material. What I'm going to do is post this video, of course, let you take a look at it, and then we'll discuss what the next logical step might be.